Hi, it's me, Michael, with a weekly update. I'm going to try and take my time a little bit this week so that I'm not rushing through everything so quickly that you just don't even get to see what I'm talking about. So let's switch over to the desktop. Let's make sure I am over the top. I guess I should make this window a bit smaller. Right, so starting off, let's look at Action Streamer. Honestly, I spent a bit more time on it. And I reached a point with it where I was just stuck. It's not like me to admit defeat on something, but for now, I have started on a little. This is not the right project. Where is it? No, maybe I didn't open it. Open recent Action Streamer. It's not like me to give up on something, but I've started creating just a sort of very bare bones. Can I make a little playground where I do the bare minimum and trying to figure out exactly what's involved, but it was really becoming counterproductive, and I realized that just by kind of composing my video better on YouTube on stream, then it probably wasn't really needed, but I will come back to it. And actually something else I had done, which I think is along here somewhere, I got the Infinite Music Machine to build again. So this has been out of service for a while because I hadn't built it for a while, but I finally managed to get this playing again. It was working, but there was no audio. So we'll launch that up. You see, here's the app running, and that will come up in a second. So this is my app that I created 5-6 years ago. That it takes. I made 1,000 loops, audio loops, and then made the code that sort of algorithmically creates sequences out of them. And so you probably can't hear that, and this is not. There's some problems, but there's fun stuff in here. Here is no, it's going to crash. It's not perfect, but I finally figured out how to get the audio was just gone. And it turned out I was blocking the audio thread in a way that it didn't used to block the audio thread. But look, I did all these little nice animations to help you, encourage you to do things. So it's still crashy, but this will. I'm going to bring this because it's an iPhone app that sort of downloads loads of audio files. But I suddenly thought, well, why don't I just make it a server app? So that it does this Infinite Music Machine thing, but then you just tune into it with any streaming app or radio. It can be on Twitch 24/7 or something like that. So that means that the same technology that I had figured out to do that other video streaming app, the original reason to figure that out was to connect it into this and create just a Twitch channel that's just the Infinite Music Machine, and then that's a lot more accessible, and it's also quite cool that everyone's seeing the same music at the same time. Now you'll see I spent 16. It was actually 16 plus a good 20 hours this week. Because we skipped the podcast this week, I thought I'm just gonna make a YouTube video. So I'll just quickly show you what that involves. So it starts off with a script that will look like this. So this is all the things I want to capture. Each of these is action, and then this is the voiceover. And what I have is a script that takes this script and converts it into a Final Cut Pro timeline, and then that contains all the actions, all the, notes about everything I have to do, and then here's the final edit. So you can see it's fairly involved, but what was great was I got a really good response. So if we go onto Reddit, we had I'll click through to this comment because I know. Right, it's this one. So look, 72 upvotes, straight away within an hour. Within 2 hours, I had someone had donated £5, and loads of engagement here. And then on, I'll just find the post on Facebook as well, although I will hide my Facebook while I look for it. I just know. So I emailed Peter, Create Digital Music, and he was kind enough to make a post on it as well. I put the mutable, put this in, and then there's this whole there's this whole post about it. So yeah, like, and also I'm quite proud that I got Twitter. The person that makes the modules tweeted me back as well. So Mutable Instruments is the person who did it, and she said, yeah, it's really great. So really like a much needed win in terms of video production. And I'll just show you like a little clip of it now, just via OBS. I mean, it's pretty, I'll just give you a quick clip. In a video I showed how there is an array for each pattern, and then there are 3 groups of 32 steps for each pattern, and that's usually used for kicks, snares and hi-hats. So for this video I thought I'd actually throw together a sequencer that lets you play with this data in the browser. So just go to goodtohear.co.uk/tools/grids-sequencer, and you can try different numbers and hear what the beat actually sounds like. And I haven't made knobs or anything, but you can edit these numbers, and that sets the thresholds and the probabilities in the same way that the knobs on the hardware do, and you can just hear how it will behave in different circumstances. It won't preview the mixing, crossfading between the rhythms that Grids does, but it's, you know, it's good for now. So now we can just try some different numbers out in the browser. Yeah, so you can see, I kind of went to town on it. I spent some time, and it was nice to see it pay off. Look at that. So what's next? We can quit Final Cut now, and we can have a look at, right, New Changes website. One thing I did this week was, there's this augmented reality demo in the browser, but like it was just like plopping itself on a little bit unceremoniously. So I just went into this reality composer, and like you can add behaviors. So I added a load of behaviors, and I reproduced it's a fairly simple data visualization, but I reproduced this so that like when it appears, it's like does a cute little animation. And now, like, you can go to, when you go to the website, no, change is new, this, it is here. On mobile, you'll be able to just click through and launch an AR demo like that, basically like the Apple website has. So that was a bit of progress on that. And then the other big blocker this week has been the ability to do screenshots for this. And like, it's always a problem. Like, what data do you show when you're doing something like this? So what I realized I should do this week was make a different version of the app, which like a beta testing version of the app. So it's a separate target that just builds, and I just switch off the iCloud. I don't give it access to all the stuff, and then it becomes just a testing ground where I can just launch it and play with it and take screen recordings, and then delete the database. So why don't I just get this up and running so that we can in fact, let's just grab QuickTime Player, go new movie recording, and there's my phone screen, and we can see, yeah, here's just changes. And what we've done, but something I wanted to do was, like, so changes lets you export a oh no, what happened there? Amazing. Some reason that's crashing hard. So what I did, I mean, it's the sort of testing version anyway, so I'm not too worried. But that's charming, isn't it? We'll leave that running. See what's going on there. See what the crash is, if there is one. But in here, there's this. There's the ability to. Oh my God, what is happening? Oh, it was just launching itself. That was expected, that one. I don't want to show you the thing. Right, so you can export your data as a spreadsheet file, as a tab separated value. But what I thought I'd do this week was, well, why don't I make it so that you can edit the spreadsheet and bring it back in? So that's what I did. And it wasn't, I'll tell you, like, it wasn't the easiest thing in the world to do. Because when you're looking at a spreadsheet like this, there's this sort of column order that you've got to be careful about. Like, I kind of want someone to be able to just reorder the columns and it not just break the entire spreadsheet. And the danger with like coding something to just expect a particular order of columns, and if you change the order, or if you add a column, it sort of breaks the whole thing. That wasn't acceptable to me. And also I wanted the code for reading to exist in exactly the same place as it did for writing. So it took me a while. I had to do this. So I created this in Swift. I created this, it's like column. I make this column type which has a read type and it has a writable type. And you kind of create this column structure and then you tell it what it needs to read it from a spreadsheet, and you tell it what it needs to write it back into the spreadsheet string, and you know what the title of the column is. And then in my spec for the spreadsheet import, I just define each column. So date the ID is just a string. So to read it, you just read it, write it back in. The date, you need to use a particular date format and like switch it that way. The text, it might be sensitive, it might not. This is actually a bug potentially if someone does just put their own ellipsis in. The rating needs to be converted into the right model. And I could have ended up with these in completely separate files. And then if I change it in one place, I forget to change it in another place, or if someone moves the columns around. But you'll see, like we've got these generic columns, but it wasn't enough to. And then when we take the stuff, when we declare the order, we just do that in one place. And I did have a bit of trouble with this, and I ended up like having to have a protocol. So I couldn't just use the column because then they'd have different concrete types. So I had to make this protocol thing that sort of wraps around the column. So I store the column protocols and I know that they are what they are. And then when I unwrap it, I have to like force it back into a column format. That's a specific one. But that's the import. But the export. The main thing that I'm happy about is that I was just able to iterate over. I was able to. Where's export entry? Row from entry, row from change, and it's just able to do the column values, which just maps over that list of columns, and then just converts it. Just calls that function so that I'm not hard coding any column order or anything like that. So it's and then the only thing I do is I just to determine whether it's a change or whether it's an entry, because there can be different types of rows. I can add a change which is a different data format which just populates the ID and the date and the changes, and the rest of them there's an arbitrary number of tags here that you can add. But I did get it working. So now if the way it works is you can go, I don't know why I'm trying to use a mouse on that. You can go import data. It lets, and I can just drag using the iTunes file share. So where it has, I'm just navigating to my phone on here, of course. Like even Finder's crashing on me today. It's just charming. You can just drag it in through the Finder thing, and then you just tap on it, and you can choose to either like add and like append it to your existing data or replace all of your data. But it just means that now I can tell a story. So here's the little story that I was testing with today. I have a weird lump. I'm sad. Oh no, it's getting bigger. I'm sad. Oh no, it's turned into a second head. That's a starred entry. And then a neutral entry, now it's helping me with my homework, and then a start entry. I got an A in my homework from my neck second head thing, and then I'm like, I don't know how I got anything done with just one head, and then it's like, oh no, the next thing's racist, and then it gets it removed, and then we can still add. I miss my second racist head. I mean. Sorry. Let's not put that in. Skirting strange subject matter there. But yeah, so now I can use that to just author my stuff in here and get someone else to be able to, other people can start helping me write these little stories, and I can use my creative brain instead of my sort of like programming brain to have to change it all the time. And then that is I think that's us for the week. I know this went on, but I just wanted to explain it properly when I showed it and just have a little bit of a brag that it went so well this week. I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you next week. This was a day late just because I didn't come in yesterday because we didn't do the podcast again. Next week, podcast will be back. So, but I'm quite glad it was 2 weeks off the podcast because it's saved me some that 20 hours that I used to I'm sort of I was 15 hours in debt after using some of the podcast time to do that video. But anyway, it paid off. It looks good. And now I'm going to do my music live stream. So I'll see you next week. Bye.